checked every box for your F-1 visa interview. You think you're totally ready, right? Well, what if I told you that all that paperwork, as important as it is, isn't the thing that will actually get you that stamp of approval? Yeah, let's get into it. Because that real decision, the one that's made in just a couple of minutes, it actually comes down to something else entirely. It's not really about your grades or your bank statements or even how perfectly you speak English. So, what is it then? Well, if you talk to visa experts, and I mean even students who've been successful, they'll tell you that a staggering 90% of the decision, it all boils down to just one single thing. And it's the one part that most people, believe it or not, completely overlook. That's right. It's your mindset. The whole thing is a mental game. The interview is really just a test of your confidence, your clarity, and honestly, your credibility. And in this explainer, we're going to break down the exact psychological toolkit you need to totally ace it. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the real secret, the rule that pretty much governs every single interview. Then we'll build up your core mindset from scratch. After that, we'll jump into a mental workout you can start doing like right now. We'll cover how to master the pressure of interview day and then wrap up by walking through those final confident moments right before you step up to that window. All right, first up, the interview's real secret. And it's not about your grades. So what is this big secret anyway? Well, it's a fundamental principle of U.S. immigration law that basically flips the entire interview on its head. Getting this is absolutely the first and most critical step you have to take. And this right here gets to the absolute core of the whole thing. See, under U.S. law, the visa officer has to assume you plan to stay in the U.S. forever. It creates what they call a presumption of guilt. Now, what does that mean for you? It means the entire burden of proof is on you. You have to be the one to convince them, without a doubt, that you are going to return home after your studies are done. And that is exactly why your documents alone are never enough. I mean, think about it. The officer is trained to read people, not just shuffle papers. They're looking for signs of credibility, of confidence, a clear and consistent story. They aren't just approving your application, they are approving you as a person they can trust to follow the rules. Okay, so how do you actually project that trust and credibility?
Hi everyone. Welcome to today's mock interview. I hope you're all doing well. Let me know where you're watching this from, and if you have any question, please leave it in the chat. Okay, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Today, I have two students who are preparing for their visa interviews, and I hope they are ready. So, if I say something, if I miss something, right? If let's say they say something which is, in your opinion, not correct or something, and then I miss it, you can let me know. This is a live thing, and so when you're doing a live interview, yeah, it's easy to miss something. So just for you to know, I'm not perfect, right? So, anyways, so I have Kobby and then I have Joan here with me. I'm going to start with Joan. Um, Joan, can you hear me? Joan.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. All right, so um, you are ready, right? Is this the first time you're applying for the visa?
Yes, please.
Okay, so where are you going?
I'm going to the University of Finlay to. I'm going to the University of Finlay to study a bachelor's degree in nursing. It is a 4-year course which has 8 semesters. In my first semester, I would take core biology subjects like anatomy, microbiology, nutrition, and public health. And in my second semester, I would progress to nursing core subjects like introduction to nursing.
Okay, Joan, hold on. So just think about it. If I meet you and then I ask you, where are you going? And then you tell me, oh, I'm going to XYZ to do ABC. Do you really think immediately telling me about the course structure, 4-year program, 8 semesters, courses like nutrition, public health, do you think that really convinces me about your purpose for going to the US. Right? The question is, where are you going? So then, once you tell me where you are going, I expect you to tell me your purpose. Why are you going to the US? That is a better way of presenting yourself as a credible student, right? So what I will expect from you is to tell me why you want to study the program, right? If the visa also doesn't interrupt you, then that's probably what you should be talking about. After you talk about why you want to study the program and the visa also doesn't cut in, then you can now talk about the credit hours and the courses and all those stuff. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Because the visa interview is about trying to show to the visa officer that you deserve the visa. What will make you deserve a visa if you don't really have a clear reason for studying the program? When I say clear reason, I'm talking about what are you, why do you really want to get a degree, and when you finish, what are you using the degree for? Like when you more or less your ties, you go back home, what are you going to use a degree for, right? So
Okay.
I hope what I'm saying makes sense.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Should I go
so
again?
let me ask you that question on its own, right? So why do you want to study nursing?
I chose nursing because of something I witnessed during my internship at a hospital in my hometown. I saw an HIV pregnant woman died because the hospital didn't have a specialized maternity clinic care for HIV patients. That experience inspired me to become a nurse. So so that one day I can open my own maternity care which specializes in HIV care.
Mm. Um, hmm. You give a reason for what inspired you. That's not bad in a way, but I don't know if it sounds truthful to anybody that you just saw somebody die from, um, the person had HIV and she wasn't taking care of him, so she died as a result. I don't know if that is going to convince anybody that, oh, this is something that actually happened, right? I don't know if it's um hmm. So when did you finish your bachelor's degree? Sorry, when did you finish high school?
2018.
2018.
2021.
So which is which, 2018 or 2021?
2021.
Okay, so you finished high school in 2021. What have you been doing
Yeah.
since 2021?
I went to the University of Energy and Natural Resources to pursue a degree in hospitality management.
So you have a degree in hospitality.
I'm still in the process.
You're still in the program.
Yeah.
So if you are already in a program, you are doing something hospitality, why do you suddenly want to do nursing? What are you saying?
So I actually wanted to continue with the hospitality, but with the attachment internship where I went to the hospital and the the patient, the pregnant woman died because in my hometown, the clinic, they didn't have a specialized maternity care for HIV patients. So it inspired me to become a nurse. So during my application, I chose nursing.
Which application? Application
Yes,
to the University of Energy or application to the US? Which of the applications are you referring to?
the University of Finley in the US.
So, um, I wanted to, when I asked you why do you want to study the program and you answered it, I still wasn't too sure. I wanted to understand a little bit more a little bit more about your story. That's why I decided to hold on with that. But then asking you about you, like you telling me you are doing your bachelor's degree, I'm like, what are you saying? Like, what is happening? You can't be doing a bachelor's degree in hospitality and then want to come to the US to do nursing. No visa officer is going to approve your visa with a story like this. You cannot tell me that you went to the hospital as a tourism student, hospitality student, and then you saw HIV people, HIV patient not properly taken care of, and so they die. Now, what you're saying, it might not really reflect what actually happened. Maybe there there is more. Like it's not just. I mean, I get the point that your story of returning to Ghana to set up a maternity clinic for specifically for HIV patients. Yeah, that can work, right? That can be a story. But what leads to that is just what is not really convincing me, right? And also the fact that you're already in school. Which level are you now?
400.
400.
Yes.
Joan, why did you apply for the visa? Why did you apply to a US school? Because if you are in your fourth year, you should finish and then you finish very
Um,
soon.
I actually, I actually applied, I think, in 2024.
Okay, and what happened? You didn't get any.
So,
You didn't get
yeah,
anything.
yeah, I didn't get a date, so I deferred. And I didn't get a date last year too, so I deferred. And I got a date. I got the date last year, but the school reopening date didn't align with, the visa date, so I deferred again.
Is your current GPA good? You don't have to say
Yeah,
if you don't want to say. Is so? What is the range? What is the range of your current GPA?
um, 2.9.
2.9 is not strong enough. You probably, this is sometimes maybe you've actually spent a lot of time, on the study abroad process that you could have actually used to improve your GPA in a way. Because right now you have two options, right? So right now it's like you can forgo the interview, finish your bachelor's degree, and then even if nursing, I've seen people apply to different programs, they go here and then they switch to nursing. I've seen that, happen a lot. So that is an option, right? But if you are going for the interview now, just like you disclosed to me, you cannot, if the visa officer asks you what have you been doing, you cannot lie, because if you lie and then within a year time you want to come here, if you go and then you say, oh, I was doing volunteer, and it's like, oh, if you did volunteer last year, how come you have a bachelor's degree now? That might go against you, right? It means that when you went, or like as you're going right for the interview now, it means you didn't tell the truth. So then you if you're going now, you want to tell the truth that, okay, this is the thing, right? You want to tell the truth, you are currently, but that also is going to go against you if you say you are currently doing your bachelor's degree, you are in your fourth year. I mean, no visa. I don't know how many visa officers will be convinced by this story that you went to the hospital. I mean, this is an expensive venture, right? You trying to come to the US, it's an expensive thing. So why will you want to make a decision just because you saw something like that? You saw somebody, not properly taken care of. It's not just HIV patients who are not really properly taken care of in Ghana. All people, like all patients are not really, even kids are not really properly taken care of in a lot of these hospitals and clinics. So you cannot just make a decision just because you saw that. No, that's not really strong enough in a way, right? To me, you don't have to have. This is the thing. The visa officers, they're always looking for people who have shown consistency, in what they really want. So your current job, like if your current job relates to the program you're coming to study, then it's like, oh yeah, that is consistency. But if your current job is different from what you're coming to study, it's like, this person is he or she really interested in the program, right? So I don't know. I so okay. What, who is sponsoring your studies?
Hello,
Joan, are you
my
there?
uncle. Yeah,
Okay.
My uncle, he's the CEO of Yabed Suppliers
No,
Limited.
don't mention the name of the place. Just he's the CEO of XYZ Limited. Okay, just
He's the
for your
CEO of
own good.
SY.
Okay.
My uncle has supported me since I was little, and he has been planning for this opportunity. The funds for my education come from the business profits and the savings accumulated over time. It's
What is your cost of attendance?
um, $60,580.
So 6,000. My guess is you have some scholarship, right?
22,500.
23. So your uncle is sponsoring almost $40,000 for 4 years. That's $160,000. Do you think a visa officer will believe your sponsor? It's not possible for a visa officer to believe that your uncle loves you so much. I mean, given the fact that you're already in school, your uncle is already spending a lot of money on you. I'm assuming he's the one who takes care of, like you said, he's been the one taking care of you. So he's the one spending all that on you. So why will your uncle, if I'll be very honest with the thing is that sometimes it's difficult to be honest with people because people don't, a lot of people, they even know what they want to do, but then they will come to me and ask me, okay, what do I think? Even though whatever I think, when I tell them, they will not take. But if I were in your shoes, I feel like, it's your, this is not ideal. I will never say if a student is going for the interview, they will be denied. But then I can say you have a low chance, very, very low chance of being approved. And for me, if I were you, even though I've spent money on the visa and all that, first of all, you didn't have to. You were already in a program. You didn't have to apply for the visa because you were already in the program, and you had to just focus on your GPA, get it as high as possible, so that that will allow you to come to the US and do your masters. The people that I did mock interview with, like I coached Emmanuel last year. He went to high university to do tourism, tourism and hospitality. He got a full teaching waiver, but then as soon as he arrived, because with the full teaching waiver, his visa was approved when he came. I think some people were not approved, and so when he came, his funding became full funding, and his funding was even more than his cost of attendance. Tourism. So if I were you, this is what I would have done. I would have taken my time. A lot of people, they hear the state abroad thing and everybody is trying to travel, and a lot of people, they make a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. They see somebody traveling and they don't understand that everybody's time is different. You want to take your time and make sure the conditions are right. What is in your control, your GPA, that is something you can do your best to try and get it up, and then you can come here. I know I'm not supposed to give you advice, but at the same time, you came here to for mock interview, and I'm trying to tell you that with everything that you've told me, I don't think this is really going to help. And if I were you, I would not even expose myself to the visa officer, such that it's like, oh, you are in your 40 and you're trying to do nursing. This can actually go against you if you go for the visa interview again. This is my opinion. I can be wrong. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not a perfect person, but this is what I think based on many years of doing this. If I were in your shoes, I'll forget about the interview and then focus on my studies and try and then finish with a better GPA and come to the US to do masters. That's what I would do because this everything doesn't look good to me. The cost of attendance, 40,000 is a lot of money. Like sometimes, sometimes I wish people back home will understand, you know, the things that we go through here and how difficult it is to take care of deficits, especially undergraduate students. If you're a graduate student, when you come, there is a possibility of you getting an assistantship in your second semester or in your second year. There is that possibility. But if you're an undergraduate student and you don't come with a good scholarship, you are in trouble. I'm telling you, you are in trouble. Because of the work I do, a lot of people reach out to me, and sometimes somebody in the US will reach out to me that they are struggling. Some of them, they even came with a full teaching waiver, but then the living expenses alone, they are struggling to pay. So when people are trying to come and then I'm trying to advise them, sometimes I want to advise them, but so at the same time, it's like, who am I to advise people? Because I've also made my own mistakes in terms of different things, right? So then sometimes it's like, who are you to advise? But at the same time, it's because you've made mistakes, you've seen how things are, that you try to offer advice to people back home. But a lot of people, they won't listen. They will. So Joan, so if I can give you advice as a big brother, I'll just tell you that this doesn't look good. You should probably focus on your tourism, and then you spend money, but at least it's better to waste. I don't know, in a way, waste that money than if you go for the interview, they can actually demoralize you. Like the experience can be brutal. Like the interview today, it's not easy. The visa interview room, it's not easy like that. So, and also just so that you don't mess up your future opportunities, right? For the interview, for the visa. So yeah, if I were in your shoes, that's what I would do. I know it's expensive, but yeah, it's probably better than. But that's what I think. So, um, do you have any question? I know this is not what sometimes still want to hear, but sometimes I feel like if I'm not honest with you, who can be honest with you, right? I've been in the US for almost 10 years, so I feel like I know a lot, and I'm in a better position to talk about some of these things. Other people wouldn't tell you this because sometimes it's difficult to be honest with people, right? So, and also if you don't trust me, right, you can try and reach out to somebody who is in the US and then present everything to him, and the person can tell you the same thing that I'm telling you, right? So I don't know. Joan, do you have any question? I know this isn't what you wanted to hear, but yeah.
Oh,
Do you have any? Do
thank
you
you.
have any? Yeah, okay, you're welcome. Like I always say,
Okay.
if this is your dream, you just have to be patient and strategize. Look at what you can improve on and do the right thing. Eventually, you will come. Eventually, it just takes for some people it just takes a bit of time. I posted a video on the ShaiPod yesterday. Francisca, she was while she was in the university, she was trying to transfer to the US. She did everything, it didn't work out. She had to do her bachelor's degree, finish, and she even worked for like 3 years or so, and she was still trying. A year prior, 2023, she applied to 5 schools. She got nothing, no, not even admission. Then 2024, she got 400 and came. So sometimes it takes a lot of time, but everybody's life is different. So you'll be fine, okay? So good luck to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
yeah, sure. You're welcome. Kobby, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Okay. So Kobby, who is sponsoring your studies?
I've been awarded a graduate research assistantship that covers my entire tuition, my mandatory fee, my insurance, and stipend for 12 months. And this whole remuneration extends to the second year. And the conditions associated with this assistantship is to work under Professor Shai as my supervisor. And
Professor White.
also, I just used your name. I didn't want to mention the name, so I used your name.
This guy. Nigeria will say, they whine me. They whine me.
Professor Shai, the conditions associated to this assistantship is to work under Professor Shai for this assistantship and also attend or, uh,
Okay.
all meetings announced by the
Um.
department.
Okay. So what you said, yeah, that is the condition, right, for the assistantship and all that. But you want to structure your answer in a better way because you don't have. You were talking about that covers your health insurance for 12 months for this, and like it's too long. It covers everything, right? So
No.
okay. So what is your deficit?
So yes, so the remaining is $6,000 and it's my miscellaneous and transportation.
Okay.
And it would be covered by my father's brother, Mr.
Okay.
XYZ. He is an
Okay.
electrical consultant and a technical manager and earns an annual salary of 45,000 US dollars.
Okay.
And
So if I were you, I would just say, uh, who is sponsoring your studies. You can say I've been awarded a graduate assistantship offer of maybe $30,000, which covers my tuition and my living expenses. The 6,000 is for what again? Can you tell me that again? You said
miscellaneous and
transportation and
transportation,
miscellaneous. Okay. So, but then the assistantship covers your living expenses and
living expenses, tuition,
your tuition and living
mandatory fee.
expenses.
Yeah. and the rest.
Okay. Yeah, you can shorten it a little bit. I ordered a graduate assistantship of maybe $30,000, which covers my tuition and living expenses. I have a deficit of 6,000, which will be covered by my dad. That is for my miscellaneous and my transportation. This funding, you don't even want to tell the police officer who is sponsoring your studies, so that because they will be asking a lot more questions about, okay, what does he do, and if you can avoid it, you avoid it. You want to show your credibility as a student, right? So you want to say, so there are two ways actually. You can say, this um you know this assistantship will allow me to, or comes with the opportunity to work under Professor This, whose research, you know is about XYZ or something. Or this assistantship was based on my application, which included my GP of this, my SOP, highlighting, then dot. Here is about what, it's about, uh um it's about what do you want to do with the program. So it's like my SOP highlighting how I intend to, how the program will help me develop my skills in XYZ, in order to, develop solutions to ABC, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? So all I'm trying to say is, your SOP should highlight or should talk about your why you want to study the program. So then, even though the visa officer hasn't asked you about why you want to study the program, you still want to use that opportunity that your application was based on these application materials. But then with the SOP, you want to talk about, you know, your plans and why you want to study the program, so that you just don't have to spend a lot of time, because you are trying to convince the visa officer within that short time that you are really a credible student, instead of them to ask you why do you want to study the program. If you answer it very well like that, they don't have to ask you all those things, right? So what I'm saying is, the 12 months thing that you mentioned, like, no, just keep it simple. Okay. So does that make sense? I know
Yes,
how I
it
said it
does.
wasn't
After
very
everything, I'll ask you a question, so it does.
easy. What are you going to study?
I'm going to pursue a 2-year master's degree in electrical and electronics engineering, where I will be taking courses like advanced control systems, mechatronics, and Internet of Things. These courses would help me deepen my understanding in control systems so that when I return to my home country, I will continue to work with XYZ to be able to resolve most of the control system issues that we have on our machines, to be able to improve downtime, to be able to improve the plant availability and decrease downtime on the machine.
What is a control system?
A control system, a control system is a system where electrical devices communicate and execute tasks.
What kind of task?
That is a task issued by the user.
Who is the user here? What is, you still haven't, if I ask you what kind of task, if you say a task by the user, you still haven't told me what the task is, right?
It
What is
depends.
what? Mhm.
It's broad. I'm not trying
Okay.
to justify, but then it's a broad thing. So it's just like
Okay.
an electrical iron, and then you want it to heat up so that you iron your dress. You see, the electrical iron is a device. It uses a control system, right? So it depends on
So
whatever.
so you can just say, for example, if they ask you what kind of task, you can say, so for example, when the iron is turned on, a
Mhm.
task can include sending electrical signals to the, I don't know the systems. Let's say the um the motherboard or something, and that activates
Of
the
course.
XYZ to, you want to sound
Yeah.
technical, that this
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
is,
yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
so that the visa officer might not be familiar with the field, but they want to hear somebody who is sounding like, okay, he or she knows what he's talking about, right?
Okay.
um Tell me about your current job. What do you do?
I'm currently working as a technician and operator at XYZ, where my role is to operate XYZ machine and also maintain the machine in terms of electrical power systems. This role has really prepared me very well to advance myself in a master's degree in electrical and electronics engineering, and also prepared me to undertake a, a research as a research under Professor XYZ to advance myself in control systems, so that when I return, I would be able to pick up a senior role and resolve most of the control system issues that we have on our machines to be able to reduce the downtimes and increase the plant availability for my company.
Mm. When it's your field like this, I can only suggest a few things, and then you would have to work on them.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know if you saying you work as a technician at XYZ. I don't know if that is strong enough. Maybe a bit more specific answer will be I am ABC technician, like something technician, right? What kind of technician? Because they are in every field they are technicians. So how are you? What kind of technician are you, right? If there is something like that, I don't know it, but if there is something like that, it's probably
There's
better
something
to
like
make.
that. There's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to say something like so that it's like, yeah, this guy is definitely telling the truth, right?
Okay.
And when you were talking about it has prepared you for the program. Um, I don't know. Maybe something like it's giving you the foundational skills or something, the foundational practical skills or something. I don't know,
Okay.
especially in how to do this. And in the master's program, you will get opportunity to advance that knowledge using skills in XYZ, and then you can even be more natural and say I choose ABC University because of the XYZ lab where I'll get to use control systems to that kind of technical. The thing is I cannot tell you those things, but when you say it and I
Okay.
hear it, I'm like, okay, this is sounding good, right? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Make it sound like, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. So you have a bachelor's degree in electrical
Electrical and
engineering,
electronics.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. How did you get the funding?
It was through a Google search, and then I saw
How
that
did you get the funding?
I reached out to I reached out to Professor XYZ, and I explained my research interest to him. He later responded back, and then we scheduled a virtual meeting. In the virtual meeting, we discussed my fit into his research team. So after 3 weeks, he got back to me that I'm the best fit to work under him to undertake research as a graduate research assistant. So he recommended that I should go ahead and apply to the program. And after 4 days, I received an admission decision and the funding, which solidified my decision to study in this XYZ university.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe you said you reached out to him. That doesn't sound professional, right? A professional way of saying this is I sent a cold email to Professor XYZ about my interest in his research on the use of XYZ, and so he replied to me, set up an interview with me. In the interview, he asked me in the interview, I told him about my current job and how that aligns with what he's currently doing, and so he encouraged me to apply. And so when I applied, I was given the funding also because of my strong academic credentials, including my GP of this, my SOP highlighting my how I plan to use XYZ. I also got my supervisor to send a recommendation letter, and two professors as well send recommendation letters on my behalf. I also submitted my CV Like, yeah, the application materials,
of course.
those were the things that gave you the funding. So that's what I think. That's probably. So how many schools do you apply to?
I applied to only one school, that is the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley,
Why? Why
because
just that school?
of my research interest in control systems. That aligns perfectly with my supervisor, Professor Shai.
Mm. Okay, so that's the reason you applied to that school because of research interest. Okay, that makes sense. Research alignment. Okay. Um. Yeah. In my research, it is the only school that stood out to me because of my research interest in control systems. Like you said, it's fine. What do you do in your current job? I know
I'm
I asked you
currently
something. Mm.
I'm currently the electrical technician and operator at XYZ, and my role is to operate the XYZ machine and then maintain the machine in terms of electrical power systems. This has given me the foundation to advance myself in a master's degree so that I would be able to resolve most of the advanced control systems issues that we have on our machines.
Maybe to develop my skills in XYZ, which will enable me to return to Ghana to you know, help with resolving stuff. So it's like you want to still kind of quickly say to develop your skills in XYZ, right? Because
Of
it's the
course,
skills that you're coming to develop which will enable you to return
of
to
course.
Ghana to solve those problems. Yeah. How did you hear about the school?
It was through it was through a Google search on niche.com where I saw that there's a lab in the school that is currently handling control system research. So I quickly searched on faculty members, and I saw that my Professor Shai, is currently working on a robust PID control systems using a permanent magnet direct current. So I reached out, and then please can I take that again?
Yeah, sure.
So it was through a Google search at niche.com. And then I saw that this particular school, there is a lab in the school currently handling advanced control system research. So I reached out to my professor, Professor Shai, and then I explained my research interest to him, which aligns perfectly with what I'm currently doing at my working place.
Um, Yeah, this is something I didn't expect you to still like, get it quickly because you still have to probably watch this and then take your time. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't just reach out. You still want to be professional. Like you sent him an email,
I
you
sent
know,
him an
you
email.
sent an
Yeah,
email, a cold email, and then he requested to have an interview with you and stuff. Because that's how engineering student, biology student. That's what you guys do, right? You send cold emails and then the professor will set up an interview with you, and then in the
yeah.
interview discuss your research interest, your experience and stuff like that, and then yeah, they will make a decision whether they want to have you in their lab or not, right? So as a science student, you always want to remember lab opportunities or you know um the kind of research you have been doing, right? Which is why they give you the opportunity. And always, like you've always been doing, I think, mentioning the name of the professor you want to work with and the kind of research he's doing and stuff like that. But then also make sure whatever you are mentioning, you can explain it. If I ask you what is this about, you should be able to tell me what that is about, because if you tell me this is your interest, then right, you should be able to tell me what that is about. Okay. Have you been denied before?
No, please, this is my first
This is
time.
your first time. What are your plans after your studies?
I plan to return back to my home country to pick up a role at XYZ company as a senior controls engineer, where I'll be handling all the machines and resolving most of the advanced control systems that we have on the machine. My management is aware of this decision, so they have given me a steady leave to advance myself in this field and return to my country to support the company in terms of troubleshooting, analyzing, and the resolving of the control systems issues that we have at my current working place.
Mm. So while you are in the US, they are still going to experience those issues until you return. Is that what's going on?
So currently, we are still. Is it a question that I have to answer, or is it an interview question, or like I
So
should answer?
I've asked you a question. I should answer myself. I should
No,
answer
no,
your
no,
question myself.
no, no. That's not what I. So yes, currently we are experiencing similar issues, but then we normally reach out to the manufacturers.
So for me, I feel like some of these questions, the best way of approaching them is uh efficiency. You want to improve efficiency in the systems, in how the systems operate, right? So maybe there is a technology which is currently not being implemented in your company, so you want to understand how the technology works so that you can return and then help to improve efficiency in the way the systems run or something, or you know expand your knowledge in terms of how AI can be used to improve how these systems communicate with one another or some that kind of thing. So a lot of times, yeah, efficiency is always a safe way of approaching these things instead of saying yeah, you know the way you are describing it's like, okay, so while you're away nobody's going to help with anything, right? But it's like, okay, you're trying to say, oh yeah, they are still doing okay, but then things can be improved in terms of when it comes to technology. We're always concerned about speed. Speed is always important. If a programmer is uh let's say coding something, and then when I run the code it takes me a minute to run it, you some programmers will not be happy that it takes a minute. They want it to be a millisecond. As soon as I run it, quickly I get the result. So then it's like, okay, my company, maybe it takes them a minute, but then there's a technology which can actually help us get to the 1 millisecond speed. So those are some of the things you probably want to be thinking about instead of you know so yeah, you have a question. Yeah, go on and ask a question. I see you've raised your hand. So what's your question?
Yeah, it's just I have two questions, but then it's just to ask about this particular question that you asked me. You see,
Mm.
currently, if we are experiencing issues like this, we normally reach out a we call on the manufacturers to for assistance. And normally, since they are in Belgium, it takes some time. It slows the process, or it can take like 1 month for them to be able to assist us, right? So me being
So
advancing myself in that.
1 month. What happens within that 1 month? What do you people do? You don't.
So it's a back
Everything
and forth.
is.
Like they are troubleshooting. Let's say we are troubleshooting the issue. Sometimes you have to even transport the this thing, maybe a device from here to Belgium for them to work on it and send it back. So advancing myself in this area, I will be able to just take the whole thing on my shoulders, and then if there's anything, so most of them, I want to resolve it here internally.
The thing
That
is
is the
that
issue. On okay.
the way I understand some of these engineering stuff is that the manufacturer is the one who made the product, and so a lot of times there are certain issues they are the ones who can resolve it. So it doesn't even matter. It probably doesn't matter the skills you have or the skills you're coming to learn. If they make the product, they are the ones who make the manual, and they are the ones who decide how it works. So if something fails, there is the high chance that you probably wouldn't be able to fix it, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Okay.
you are the technical guy, so you probably know better than you definitely know better than me. So
Yeah.
yeah. So good luck to you. Okay, I think you are in good shape. Me when somebody has funding like that, I'm like, oh yeah. When two things actually, a lot of times two things. When you have funding and then your job aligns with what you're coming to study, those two things, yeah, it means that you're almost there. So you have a question. What's your question?
Okay. So my first question is that if you are not being asked, let's say me that I have, should I say even a deficit, the 6,000 remaining that I know it's my miscellaneous and transportation. If I'm not
Mm,
being asked, should I talk about it? And then am I supposed to give short answers if the officer is still listening. He or she hasn't cut me. Should I give short answers?
The 6,000, in the beginning, I told you that you want to move. The 6,000 is not a lot of money that you have to worry so much about that. I know I've seen people with that, sorry, with that deficit who were denied. So, I mean, but the point is, you just want to avoid it. You just want to say who is covering that. My father's elder brother will be covering it. Then you want to run away from that quickly and talk about how you got the funding, or how, well, what the assistantship is about. The fact that you're going to work under Professor XYZ on XYZ. So you move away from that, because if you explain too much, you might end up shooting yourself in the foot, right? So you want to, unless they ask you, okay, how are you covering your deficit? Because some visa officers, they will not even ask you who is sponsoring you. They will say, you have a deficit of 6,000, how will you take care of that? Then you can just say, my father's elder brother will be covering that. He's the owner of XYZ, and he makes another income of this. Yeah, that's the thing. And regarding the short answers and the long answers, it depends. So some visa officers, when they ask you a question, they ask you, where are you going? As soon as you finish, they come in, they ask you the next question. They don't allow you to say more. But when you are preparing, your goal is always to say more. Say more means that if you ask a question, whatever the question is, when you finish, you can pause for 2 seconds. And then now you want to tell the visa officer everything about who you are, like in terms of, where are you going? I'm going to the University of A, to in which is in XY, like which is in, let's say, Athens, to pursue a 2-year master's in economics with a specialization in, exchange rate or something. Then you pause for 2 seconds. If he doesn't say anything, then you say, I currently work as a teaching assistant at the University of Cape Coast, and I want to pursue this program to develop my skills in, you know, XYZ, using softwares like this, or, develop my skills in XYZ to return to Ghana to work at the Bank of Ghana or something. I chose Ohio University specifically because of the opportunity to use software such as Python and R to, uh, to work on, to analyze developmental issues relating to Africa or Ghana or something, something like that. So it's like, those were not part. Why you chose the school wasn't part of the question. Why you want to study economics is not part of the question. But as long as the visa officer hasn't asked you to stop, you continue to tell your story. There is Ransford. Is it Ransford? Ransford or so. He was going to Northeastern with a huge deficit. He was asked only 2 questions and he was approved, because the first question was, when he was asked the first question, his answer was very long. He said everything about the why he wants to study the program, his plans after his studies, and the school, everything. So then the next question was, how will you cover the deficits or some your studies? And then he answered that, and that was it. So yeah, everybody's, but the goal is always to tell your story, to tell them things that will help, that will make it easy for them to approve your visa. Right. So it depends. Okay. So good luck to you. I think, yeah, you have a very good chance. Once you have funding like that, you don't have to prove anything like,
Okay, thank
your
you.
finances. So
Please, do you have any special advice for me before? Because I'm currently waiting for this.
when,
Upon all what you said, do you have a key
when,
or a tip that's a secret? Yeah.
when students ask me for tips, it's like I don't know what to say, because on YouTube I have a, like, like a course or a playlist, only visa interview stuff. So everything is there. Those ones are longer videos with everything. I can't say just one thing. No, that, so everything is there. They're already there. So you should probably check those, playlists out. Okay.
I believe I've
There's
watched most
really,
of them.
yeah, then you are in good shape. So you
Okay,
don't have to
thank
worry
you.
about, yeah, you don't have to worry about too many videos. Okay.
Okay.
So good luck. Yeah. Erika, okay, so I guess in the beginning um of the of the live session. So mental, uh we are glad to have you, Erika. Okay. Welcome from Ghana. Alex from Ghana. John, Justin, John. Messi, and then Ella from Ghana, Messi from Kenya. Okay, John, you're always learning. I'm also always learning. Okay, so, what does it take to get a mock interview with me? The mock interview is just you have to be in the Telegram group. If you're in the Telegram group, once I request for details, you just have to send it to my assistant. Well, I just asked for I-20. So once I ask for I-20, you just send it to my assistant. And then sometimes if we get a lot of people, then we would have to select maybe 3 people. But if you don't get, or maybe 2 people, 2 or 3 people, but then if we don't get a lot of people, then if it's only 2 people or 3 people who submit the request, then I guess everybody can be selected. During visa interview peak season, I even do up to 5 mock interviews or so. So it depends. It depends on, you know, it depends on the demand. So once you're in the Telegram group, yeah, you get to the Telegram. Sorry, the link to join the Telegram group. It was on my link tree, but then I removed it because at some point there were a lot of scammers, I think, trying to join the group or something. So then I had to remove that link from link tree. So um if you want to join, you would have to be in one of the WhatsApp groups, and then through the one of the WhatsApp groups you can see my channel, because my channel too, I don't share the link. So it's more like you have to be in the WhatsApp group before you can see my WhatsApp channel, and then from the WhatsApp channel you can get the Telegram group link. Or even if you are in any of the WhatsApp groups, if you ask them, I think somebody will share the link with you. So that's how you can be in there. I hope this is clear enough. So where am I? So yeah, it's nice to see you guys here. The messages, I'm seeing like 50 messages. So I don't know if I can read everything, but I can go through it that quickly. Let me see. Where was I? Um, so John. Okay. Yeah, so that is it. I think Eureka was answering you. Why not masters but bachelor's degree? Yeah, it's Joan's story. I don't know why, but because if you're already doing like in your fourth year, you just finish. Just finish. Just finish. That is always better. So yeah, she has to complete. I've seen a lot of people like that where it's like in the middle they stop and then but for some people it worked out for them. Everybody's life is different, right? So if you want to follow somebody's life, yeah, it's not the best way of living, because everybody's life is different. You want to follow your own path, right? So it's the where are they? Where are they? So Nyako, Pious, I think I've already explained that. Okay. Flipping notes, yeah. I think Joan was flipping notes, yeah. She was flipping notes, but yeah. For this is not the final more. It's not. This is just I mean, some students maybe they've only prepared answers, but then they haven't really mastered their story. So then they want me to hear it out and then give them my opinion before they actually know whether to master it or not. So I guess, yeah, it is what it is. I love reading these comments, but then sometimes it's like, mental says, yeah, cancelled mine last year. Yeah, so he cancelled this. Sometimes you just have to know you have to cancel it. Some people, they have a low chance. You tell them they will not listen, then they will go and they'll be denying. When you have a low chance, it's almost impossible to be approved, honestly. But I will not tell you you won't be approved. I'll just say you have a low chance. Then you can make up your mind. Nenekwa, good to see you. It's been a while on your life. Missing you from Ghana. Nenekwa. Nenekwa, no comment. LSS, I suggest that she focuses on her GPA and get somewhere 3 point. Yeah, that's the thing. She should try and get above 3.0 so that you know at least that will give her a better chance. Um, yeah. some of the advice, so it's not easy for me to give advice because sometimes people don't want to hear that, right? So, 1 second. So, yeah, she's in a final year. Yeah. Okay, it's good that yeah, I'm trying. Don't give up there. Finish hard with your BSc. Yeah, Joan, become okay. You get there. Yeah, you guys are nice too. From shy or more, or more, or more. The way I love the word or more. I'm taking to Nigerians. They're always saying or more, so I've become used to or more. Yeah, yeah. So um people are tapping into for fun. You there, be there. Don't tap into it. um, put in the work. And yes, sir, for fun, no. Yeah, it's a lot of work actually. It's not easy to get for fun, It's so difficult. So difficult. But then process is really simple. Everybody knows this is what I need to do. But then the doing, right, is the hard part. It's really tough. So if you are giving me pressure, hey, Prof. Shai, okay. If you dey whine me like that. So yeah, Kobby has done very well. Yeah, he's done well. He's done well. A lot of times the most difficult aspect of the visa interview is the funding. Once you work hard and you get the funding, the visa interview you've already done 50% of the work, right? So yeah, a lot of times, yeah. Yeah, don't give short answer if it's your area of strength. Yeah. If that is you know that this is what you want to do, you have all the technical stuff. Tell the visa officer, convince him that you are really intelligent. You tell him, convince him that you went through the process, you did everything yourself, and the school evaluated your credentials and they realized that yeah, this guy, we want this guy here, right? So you wanna show them, know your very strong answer and your weak answer. If it's an interview, don't go with weak answer. Just have one story. So it's like one story is like this, and then everything else, So it's like the tree. The tree is your story. So then the tree has branches. Why the school? You chose the school because of the same thing. Your plans after your studies is still the same story, right? Why the program? The same story. Most of the time, your work experience, the same story. It relates to the same thing you want to study. Um, yeah, everything, everything has to relate to the same. So the same thing, but then with different branches, right? That's how I want. So then it's like one story. The interview is just 2 minutes. So it means your story has to be strong. One story. You don't have to go with a weak story because it's difficult to get a visa these days, a US visa these days. So you want to go with your best story, right? It doesn't also have to be perfect, but at least just prepare yourself very well. So yeah. So okay, Kobby. Kobby is also in the chat. Kobby is everywhere. He's a magician. Can we get a link to so the link I think I've said it. If you are in any of the WhatsApp groups and you ask, I think somebody will share the link with you. Group 4 but I'm in group 4. I'm in all the groups. Just that people don't have my number. Those who have my number, they know. Like someone like Nick, she has my number. But I'm in all the groups. I monitor everything because if you
sometimes my assistant will reach out to me. What do I think about this? Because the thing is, I have seen a lot of things in life, and people are not honest and scammers and everything. So you want to make sure you are monitoring everything, right? Make sure everything is done well. So I'm everywhere. Yeah. Maybe Kobe gave me some of his powers, so I'm everywhere. So yeah, I miss all of you too. But I'm always monitoring you guys. I'm monitoring everything, right? So what's the WhatsApp channel or group? So the WhatsApp group, if you check the link tree, when you check my main page, you're going to see the link tree link. So that link will lead you to my other links. A lot of times if somebody wants a reply from me, like chat with me, then it's Instagram or TikTok. But I get a lot of these messages, so it depends on how you structure your message. You are very clear about the kind of question you want to ask me, because a lot of questions sometimes it's like everything is already on YouTube, and then I don't have a lot of time, and students are asking me the same things that I've talked about like 5 times on YouTube. I'm like, this person hasn't really explored, hasn't really done a lot of work already. So, but if you come to me, you have a question, I'm going to answer if your question is straightforward and all of that, right? So, yeah. Um, Now let me also say that it's possible that some of the things you post here I might not see, right? The things you're posting in the chat, because the thing keeps going up and down. So if I miss it, you know, it's not deliberate. So group four, yeah, group four is more active because so initially there was only group one, and so group one was very active. Then when group two came, group one became dull, group two became more active. Then group three came, group two became dull, and group three became active. And now group four is most active. I think it's fresh. It's about fresh blood, right? So yeah. So Ereka says, what do you say about someone having BSc in petroleum engineering and switching to mechanical engineering? So I think it's all engineering. If it's all engineering, I don't know if there is any issue, right? What I would say is the way these programs work, you want to reach out to a supervisor, right? So if you reach out to a supervisor who is willing to sponsor you, then I guess you don't have to worry about that, right? If the person knows your background and the person wants to sponsor you, then you know, I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter um which which area I interviewed Francisca, the interview I posted on Saturday on the ShaiPod. Her background is in biology education. But then she came to the US to do masters in social work, and now she's going to do PhD in counseling psychology, which are related, but not like apples to apples, right? In a way. So that's just the way it is. So you can, of course, you just have to your program. You would have to get a supervisor. So get a supervisor, and then whatever he tells you, right, is what you do. I think that's the frustrating part. You would have to reach out to so many people. Ella says, I would like you to help me clarify the meaning of this question on the expensive for entity paying for your trip. Is it about air ticket expenses or the educational costs? So this one, it depends on your deficit. If you have a deficit, then whoever is covering your deficit is the entity paying for your trip. If you don't have any deficits, you can put yourself or you can put anybody. So what that means is if you don't have a deficit, what that means is that the entity is the one covering your flights and stuff like that. But if you don't have full funding, whatever your deficit is, whoever is covering is the one. So if you have a GA, your deficit, the entity paying for your trip is the one covering your deficit. It's not the assistantship. No, it's never the assistantship. So, but then also these are minor things. They don't really make a big deal, because at the interview, the visa officer will still ask you. So then it doesn't really matter so much. But the issue is if you put, let's say, your father, and then at the interview you say your uncle, then it's like, who is actually sponsoring you, right? That can kind of create some doubts in the mind of the visa officer, so that can go against you. So I think I've told you guys about yeah, okay. Um is it Nanaba? Nanaba says, Prof. Shai, please. You guys, my name is Shai. My name is Shai, not Prof. Shai. Please, is a funding for MPH international student? Is there funding? I guess. Yeah, there's funding for every program. It's just that it takes a lot of work. You have to do a lot of work, to find the schools that have funding for those programs. Right, public health. There are schools that have funding, but then it's also, you're competing with other people and all that. And for public health students, some of them, they have to look for funding outside their department, which is also not easy, because that one, it requires a lot of skills. But there are schools that give funding, right, to do their public health programs. It just takes a lot of work. Right? There are thousands of universities in the US, so just imagine there are a lot of opportunities for you. Okay, it just takes a lot of work. So Coco, it will vary to me. Me, I didn't celebrate that too. I didn't. I don't. I don't celebrate anything. So I don't even celebrate birthday. My birthday, I don't celebrate anything. Me, I'm just there. I'm a gangster. I'm just kidding. Just yeah. Um. So John, okay, go for baby last. Yeah. Hey, I'm not pampering them. Oh. They don't even. I don't chat. I don't chat in the group. I just monitor. So I don't. I don't do anything. Um. Erica says, Prof. Shai, can we talk about the girlfriend issue now? Girlfriend issue. Girlfriend issue. Group 4. Oh, so group 4 girlfriend issue. Group 4 thing. Okay. Group 4 said group 4, they said they'll give me a girl. Or are you single? Still single or partly single? I'm fully single. Let me put it like that. I'm single, but I mean, I'm not too sure. I'm not really searching. I'm not thinking about, I just want peace of mind. I just, want to take it easy on myself. I have things that I have to think about right now. So I'm not really thinking about relationships. Even though I'm not happy when I see people who are single, but I'm also single, but I'm not really. It's funny, but yeah. I tell you, modern relationship is so complicated. These days. Everybody's making it hard for the other person. So I'm like, okay, then. So sometimes when I talk to my friends, they're like, yeah, my friends, the ones who are single, they're like, they are, it's like it's okay, the girls, and then the girls too, they're like, okay, it's the guys. So nobody knows the answer. So we are just there. Everybody's doing their own thing. So LS is, I have a deficit of 1,700, and I'm covering it with my personal maximum. So I guess, yeah, just go with yourself. Yeah. If they ask you, yeah, I have a deficit of 1,700, which I'll be covering from my personal savings or something. So yeah, you've done well, Ella, getting that kind of funding. It means that, yeah, when you come, you're not coming to struggle, right? It's a good thing. You've done well. I hope everything works out for you. So thanks so much, all of you, for your time, taking the time to join the live session. I don't know if there will be a live session next week. For me, I'm like, it depends on demand. Most of the time, I mean, there are times that you'll probably, maybe if I'm busy, then fine. But then a lot of times it's, if people are preparing for their visa interview, then I'm open to, doing the mock interview. So take care of yourselves, and hopefully this fall, some of you will be here next fall, next spring. You guys will be joining. Like, yeah. So good luck and take care.